Building a website usually means wrestling with code or paying a developer. But what if you could create any website, no coding, no hiring, just use natural language like how you would normally do it if you were working with a real person? Here's the twist. Not only can you build it visually with Lovable, you can also connect it to an AI agent that runs the entire backend for you autonomously. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with our Lovable, have it build our front end, and then via a webhook, we're gonna connect it to end, which is our workflow builder, where we will build out our AI agent to kind of handle the backend, and then send any information it needs to back to your Lovable website via another webhook. Lovable has a lot of integrations, but my two favorites are Supabase, which provides authentication services, data storage, and overall backend functionality, and Stripe, which allows you to have payment processing within your web app. So if you have never used Lovable before, I'm going to show you how to do it, and you can also use that link down in the description below. Once you have created your account, you'll be sent to this homepage. And for my example today, the prompt I'm using is help me create a web app called Make Me a Recipe Quick, where the user can submit what they want to eat. Use this image for design inspiration. I'm going to go ahead, head over to this website, screenshot this homepage, save it to clipboard, and then paste it here. Then we're going to hit this up arrow, and now it's going to be spinning up a preview, and we'll just go ahead and wait. So right now, Lovable is creating code to create the website, and this is the chat box on the left side that you can communicate with Lovable to fully customize your website. So that takes a little bit of time, but while we wait, I'm going to show you the next tool that we're going to use, which is end. And if you want a 14-day free trial, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below. Go ahead and click that so you can get started. Once you're in the homepage, we're going to create a new workflow. All workflows will need a trigger. For this example, we're going to need a webhook. But basically what this is doing is going to create that connection between end and Lovable. So whenever someone types in their request in Lovable, this webhook will be listening for that information. Once someone makes a request on your website, it will trigger this workflow. So the very first thing we're going to need to do is copy this link by clicking on it. Then we're going to go back to Lovable and tell the AI that whenever someone submits a request, send that information to this webhook. So now that we're back in Lovable, it looks like it's done creating our website. It created a nice little logo here, the name of the website, a little description of what it does, and a field here where the user can submit their request. So I'm going to test this text box. I want a cheeseburger. Okay, looks like it works fine. So let's say you want to change the color of the background. Go ahead and type it here and type, I want to change the color of the background to a more bluish color. And there you have it. It's a little bit more blue. You can change the font. You can even like screenshot a portion and put a little description of how you want to change. You can even screenshot your own logo, paste it here and say, I want to replace the logo to this. This is basically like talking to a developer, except it's a lot cheaper. The developer never sleeps and responds right away. So let's go ahead and submit this request and see what happens. So I did create something, but it's a little bit random. It's not even a cheeseburger. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that webhook and connect it to this website. So if you remember, we copied this link, and now we're going to tell Lovable to send all the queries to that webhook. So in our chat box, we said, whenever someone clicks submit, send the data to this webhook as a post request. And then you're going to paste your URL. Then submit that, let it cook. Then you're going to head over to your end and hit listen for test event. So now it's actively listening for the data. We're going to wait for this to finish, and then we're going to hit submit again. Okay, now that it's done, we're going to hit submit. Now we're going to head back to our end and let's see if we got any data. So I didn't get the data at first, but what I forgot to do was set this method to post. By default, it's going to be set to get, so make sure you set this to post as well. Once I did that, I was able to get all the information. So if you go to schema, which is what I prefer because it's a little bit easier to read, you head down here and we can see our user input. I want a cheeseburger, and also send over a timestamp and the selected tool, which was recipe creator. So that's good. Everything works. By default, it's going to be connected to a chat trigger node. It's not, so we're going to change it and define it below. Make sure expression is selected, then we're going to enlarge it and add a simple user prompt. So I'll have it as recipe request, and then we're going to look over to our left, our input, and look for that request and just drag it over. Exit out of that. Now we're going to add a system prompt. Hit add option, select system prompt, select expression. Let's enlarge it, delete this, and then add your prompt. I simply have, you are a recipe builder AI. When given a recipe request, generate a simple, accurate recipe with ingredients and exact amounts, step-by-step directions, total macros, calories, protein, carbs, and fat. Be clear, concise, and beginner-friendly. And before we can run this, we need to connect it to our brain, basically a chat model. So go ahead and click this plus sign here. You can use any large language model. I'm going to use OpenAI. I went with 4o Mini. You're first going to have to connect the credential. So go ahead and click Create Credential. Go ahead and go to openai.com, log into API platform. Once you're logged in, go over to dashboard, over to your left, go to API keys, and create a new secret key. Go ahead and name it. I'm going to name it demo, create secret key. Go ahead and copy this, and then paste it there. And you can change the title here, name it whatever you want, then hit save and you should be connected. Then select the chat model you want. And a quick tip, whenever you're testing your workflow, you want to make sure you pin your data. That way you don't always have to run that trigger. So let's go ahead and test this workflow. All right, it's finished. Let's open it up. And here's our output. Cheeseburger recipe. You got ground beef. You have all the ingredients in this section. Directions are here. All the macros here and some additional tips. All right, next we're going to have to send all this information back to Lovable. To do that, we're going to head back to Canvas. We're going to hit the plus sign, type in respond to webhook, select it, and we're going to respond with first incoming item, which is this here. So we're going to head back to Canvas, go into our webhook, and in our response section, instead of responding immediately, we're going to use the respond to webhook node. Select that. So in Lovable, we're going to put when the data is sent to the webhook, we wait for the response from the webhook, then output that in a field that says, here's your recipe. Organized in a readable way, separating ingredients, directions, total macros, and notes. Hit the arrow. There was an error, so let's go ahead and select it and hit try to fix. So I let Lovable do its thing. It fixed the issue, and let's see if it works. Now that everything is configured the way we want it, we're going to go back to init, unpin everything, and hit execute workflow. Now it's going to be listening for our request from Lovable. All right, now we're back in Lovable and we're going to ask for a cheeseburger again. Give me a recipe for a cheeseburger. Submit. Let's see if it's executing. Yes, it's executing. Please work. Whoop, whoop. All right, let's go back. Here is your recipe, and here we have it, a classic cheeseburger recipe with all the ingredients for the patty, directions, and your macros. That is freaking phenomenal. Yeah, boy. Now that we have our connection between our Lovable account and our init, let's see if we can add a little bit more features. I want to see if we can add a function that can store the recipes. So this is what I typed. Add a function that will allow users to save recipes. All right, so it did remove my recipe, but it did leave this function here. Obviously, this website is not perfect. I just wanted to highlight the usability of using natural language to create your own website and connect it to your own AI agent. This is an absolute game changer. And I feel really sorry for people who are not using and taking advantage of AI because you're going to get left behind. If you want to keep learning about AI and how you can use it to improve your business or your personal life, make sure you check out my channel and subscribe because I post this kind of information all the time. I hope this video helped you create your next website. I'll see you next time in the next game-changing AI tool.